The mirror technique. Have you ever noticed how people open up when they feel understood, not analyzed? That's the power behind the mirror technique. It begins subtly, matching someone's pace, mirroring their posture, syncing with the rhythm of their speech. If they lean in, you do the same, just slightly. When they pause, you don't fill the silence. You let it rest. And when you respond, you reflect their words, not to copy, but to connect. It's not an imitation, it's alignment. And in that space, the conversation stops feeling like a negotiation and starts feeling like a genuine connection. Picture this: a teammate in the hallway holding something back. Instead of prying, you match their calm energy. You mirror their stance. You give them space. They begin to share more. You stay present. What was once guarded begins to unfold. Mirroring works because it lowers defenses. It says, I'm not here to judge or fix you. I'm simply here with you. You'll see it everywhere, from counseling sessions to high-stakes sales to parenting moments where logic fails, but empathy succeeds. People open up when they feel you're moving with them, not against them. When you meet someone's emotional pace, they don't feel trapped. They feel safe. And safety invites honesty. The mirror technique isn't about being clever. It's about being fully present. It's one of the quietest, yet most powerful ways to build trust, and to do it quickly. Smile first, feel later. Walking through a familiar park, someone spots a neighbor they haven't seen in a while. Almost without thinking, their face lifts in a smile. Small, instinctive. The neighbor returns the gesture, just as naturally. A few steps on, something unexpected happens. They actually feel better, lighter. Not because they were already in a good mood, but because they smiled. That's the quiet power of the body over the mind. In uncertain or tense moments, smiling doesn't just reflect how we feel. It can gently shape it. The muscles send signals upward, and the brain responds, subtly but meaningfully. You'll catch glimpses of this in awkward reunions, where forced smiles soften into real ones. Or at a red light, when two strangers share a split-second glance and a nod. Even when you catch your own reflection and smile, half on purpose, half on curiosity. It works because the body sets the tone. Shift the pattern, and emotion often follows. Not always, not fully, but just enough to change the direction of a moment. It's not about pretending. It's about offering yourself a gentle nudge. So next time the world feels a bit distant, try the simplest thing: a soft smile, even if it's just for you. You don't have to mean it right away. Sometimes the meaning comes after. The yes ladder agreement doesn't usually begin with a big ask. More often, it starts quietly, one small yes at a time. Picture this: a team lead walks into the shared office kitchen and spots a new hire. It's their first week, and they've been reserved in meetings. Instead of jumping into feedback, the lead eases in. Hey, did you find the printer okay yesterday? A nod. Yeah. A smile follows. And the onboarding videos? No glitches? Another nod. Nope, all good. Then, would you be up for a quick 5-minute catch-up later this afternoon? This yes comes more easily. By the time they sit down to talk workflow and expectations, there's no tension. Just a natural, open exchange. That's the power of the yes ladder. It builds momentum through simple agreement. It starts with questions so easy to say yes to. They feel effortless. Each yes puts the other person at ease. It creates a rhythm. So when the bigger task comes, it doesn't feel abrupt. It feels like a natural continuation, just the next step forward. You'll see this in old friendships rekindling after time apart, in grassroots movements where trust grows not from speeches, but from shared understanding, even in day-to-day conversations where connection forms before influence. You're not pressuring anyone. You're moving with them, not ahead of them. You're letting their own eyes carry them forward. Because the real challenge in saying yes isn't the word, it's the fear of being rushed. But if each step has felt safe, then taking one more doesn't feel like a leap. It feels like walking together, one yes at a time. Speak slower to sound smarter. At a weekend hangout, everyone's talking over snacks. Stories overlap. Voices bounce around. And then someone speaks. Not loudly, not with force, but slower than the rest. This might sound random, they say, but has anyone ever actually read the instructions on microwave popcorn? It's not a profound question, but the room slows just enough to listen. That pause doesn't come from the topic itself. It comes from the delivery. When you speak a little slower than expected, people don't interpret it as uncertainty. They hear it as thoughtfulness. The human brain is wired to associate pacing with confidence. It's not about speaking fast or loud, but with rhythm and control. A slightly slower tempo says, "I've thought about this. I'm not rushing." You notice it in conversations with people who don't interrupt, who pause before replying, whose sentences are steady and unhurried. They may not dominate the space, but they often leave the strongest impression. It shows up in quieter, more intimate settings too. Like late-night talks on a porch where someone carefully explains how they really feel. Or during casual chats where a simple question gets answered like it matters. When words are delivered with intention, they land more clearly. The silence between them creates gravity. You don't need to drag out your sentences, just resist the instinct to rush. Even a few extra seconds can make the most basic thought feel grounded, considered, and worth hearing. Because in most conversations, the person who sounds the smartest isn't the one who fills every gap. It's the one who knows how to let their words breathe. Lower your voice. Raise their respect. At a local event, a disagreement flares up over something small. Who was supposed to bring what? Tension rises. So do voices. But then one person speaks, not louder, not harsher, lower, slower, steady. And just like that, the room begins to settle. Not because of what they said, but how they said it. Volume doesn't create authority. Presence does. In heated moments, lowering your voice signals something deeper than power. It signals control. It's not about going quiet or being passive. It's about not matching the chaos around you. When you drop your tone, others tune in. When you slow your pace, others fall into step. You'll notice it in group conversations. When someone changes the energy without taking over, just by softening their delivery, or during emotional talks between close friends, when one person stops pressing and starts grounding. Why does it work? Because contrast catches attention. A calm voice in a loud space doesn't get lost. It cuts through, not with force, but with gravity. It often surprises people. We're used to thinking the loudest voice wins. But more often, it's the voice that drops, not the one that rises, that earns the room's respect. So the next time you feel the urge to raise your voice, try the opposite. Lower it, and watch how everything else follows. The confidence loop. Most people don't need pep talks. What they need is a mirror, one that reflects the version of themselves they hope to believe in. Outside a bustling cafe, someone pauses at the door of an open mic night. They signed up weeks ago, but almost kept walking. Then a stranger holds the door, smiles, and says, "Looks like you're right on time. I always love hearing the early performers." No pressure, just a quiet assumption. You belong here. By the time they reach the stage, that simple comment, the borrowed confidence, feels like their own. The confidence loop doesn't start with inner belief. It starts with how someone is seen. When you treat someone as if they're already capable, they begin to carry themselves that way. And as others respond to that behavior with warmth or respect, the belief strengthens, the loop tightens, their posture shifts, and before long, confidence looks natural, like it was always there. You'll witness it backstage, where performers shake off nerves the moment someone says, "You've got just the right vibe for this crowd." Or in team projects, when a quieter voice finally speaks because someone listened like it truly mattered. Even with close friends or siblings, recognition often lands deeper than advice. It's not about flattery or empty praise. It's about offering belief, just enough for them to try it on for themselves. Because most people don't need help spotting their flaws. They already carry those too easily. What they need is someone who sees them as if they've already crossed the finish line. Ask for advice. Gain influence. After a group project, one classmate casually asks another, "Quick thing, how would you have handled the part where the plan nearly fell apart?" No ego, no setup, just a sincere question. That simple ask shifts the dynamic. Asking for advice doesn't make you look unsure. It makes others feel respected and included. It builds trust and, perhaps surprisingly, can increase your influence. That's because when someone gives you advice, they subconsciously become invested in your success. They want the outcome to work because now it's partially theirs too. This plays out in everyday life. Neighbors solving minor problems together, or new friends building connections through, "How do you usually deal with this?" It's not flattery. It's a gesture of respect. While many think influence comes from confidence, it often grows from humility. And the best part? You don't even have to follow the advice. Just asking brings someone into your thought process. That's where alignment begins. So instead of leading with your pitch, try asking, "What would you do?" The advice may be helpful, but the act of asking, that's what truly opens the door. Dress one level higher. At a weekend gathering, one person walks in looking just a bit more refined than everyone else. Not overdone, just thoughtful. Clean lines, well-fitted clothes, a quiet kind of confidence. No one says anything, but glances linger a second longer. Conversations seem to find their way toward them a little faster. That's the power of dressing one level above the room. Not to show off, but to show care. It's not about expensive brands or chasing trends. It's about being intentional. Because when you show up a little more put together, people assume the rest of you is too. You'll notice it at art galleries. Someone in dark jeans and a crisp shirt draws attention. Or on a casual date, where effort often speaks louder than words. Even at a neighborhood meeting, someone with neat shoes and a tucked-in tee gets asked, "Are you one of the organizers?" Why? Because we instinctively associate effort and appearance with capability and thoughtfulness. The goal isn't to blend in or stand out. It's to strike that rare middle ground, where you look like you tried, but didn't try too hard. And that look speaks volumes before you even say a word. Within seconds, people begin to decide, are you worth listening to? Do they want to remember you? And once that impression forms, your presence carries weight. You don't need a closet full of new clothes. Just aim one notch above what's expected. Because dressing well doesn't scream, "Notice me." It quietly says, "This mattered." And people tend to remember those who make the moment feel just a little more intentional. Echo their words, earn their trust. In a busy outdoor market, someone describes why they like their handmade scarf. "I guess I'm drawn to things that feel like they've been through something." The listener, who wasn't fully engaged at first, repeats the phrase softly. Things that feel like they've been through something. That moment of reflection makes the speaker pause, nod, and open up more. It didn't take deep insight, just careful listening. This is the quiet power of mirroring someone's own words, not mimicking, not interrupting, just gently reflecting a key phrase back. It signals you understood what mattered. You'll see this during long walks, in casual check-ins, or even tense conversations. When someone says, "I just felt dismissed," and you respond with, "Dismissed?" Not challengingly, but sincerely, they're far more likely to explain than defend. The brain naturally softens when it hears its own language. It feels acknowledged. So next time someone shares something real, let your reply begin with what they've already given. A word, a phrase, echoed with care. That's often what trust sounds like. Frame it as a choice. Most people resist being told what to do, even when the suggestion is helpful or completely reasonable. But present the same request as a choice, and suddenly it feels easier to accept. That's because our brains don't just process the message. We react to the sense of control behind it. When you offer someone a genuine option, you signal respect for their autonomy. And often, that small shift is all it takes to get the outcome you were hoping for. Instead of saying, "Let's leave now," try, "Do you want to head out now or stay a few more minutes?" Not, "You need to calm down," but, "Would you rather take a breath or talk it through?" The content stays the same. The difference is in how it's framed. That feeling of ownership changes the entire interaction. You'll see this in travel plans with friends, where flexibility in language gets quicker buy-in, or in collaborative projects where using "would you like to" smooths the flow of teamwork. It even works over text. Totally fine either way, but would you rather do this today or tomorrow? It's not manipulation or reverse psychology. It's anticipation. You're removing the resistance before it even shows up. Because often, people aren't pushing back on your idea. They're pushing back on feeling like they didn't choose it. So if you want less conflict and more cooperation, stop pushing. Let them feel in charge. When something feels like their choice, it rarely needs to be forced. Let them talk first. Then you win. Letting someone speak first isn't a weakness. It's strategy. It shows you where they stand, what they care about, and how they feel. And once you know that, your reply can be tailored instead of guessed. Many people think that speaking first gives them control, but the opposite is often true. Speaking second allows you to respond with precision, not projection. You see this in slow-moving conversations with new acquaintances, or in small group decisions like picking a restaurant. The person who speaks second often guides the direction, because their input is built on what's already been revealed. People unintentionally give away a lot when they go first: tone, urgency, even their priorities. So instead of rushing to fill the space, pause. Let them go first. then shape your words to what they offered, not what you assumed. That quiet before you respond, that's where real leverage lives. Act like you already belong. A soft afternoon light filters through the window of a cozy bookstore cafe, casting a golden glow over stacked books and polished wood. In a quiet corner, a woman slides into her seat, placing her bag down with a calm, natural ease. Nearby, a small book club chats casually. Without hesitation, she gently joins the conversation, offering a thought on the novel they're discussing. No grand entrance, no apology, just the comfortable tone of someone who already fits in. There's a brief pause, then the group subtly shifts, chairs turning, body language welcoming. In moments, she's part of the circle, not because someone formally invited her, but because she acted like she already belonged. This works because belonging isn't always something we're given. It's something we claim through quiet confidence. When you carry yourself with that calm assurance, people respond. They don't sense intrusion. They feel ease. Great communicators, therapists, negotiators, parents, even good friends, often don't push into a space. They gently join it. They merge instead of interrupt. And that's what creates natural connection. So next time you're in a new room, a new group, a new moment, don't wait for permission. Step in gently, as if you've always been there. Often, the room will make space for you without question. Plant ideas as questions. Guiding someone's thinking doesn't always require persuasion. Sometimes it just takes the right kind of question. Picture a quiet office meeting room in the late afternoon. The conversation lulls. Across the table, a colleague is hesitant about leading a new project. He lists the risks: an overwhelming workload, vague timelines, past experiences gone wrong. Instead of pushing back, you pause and gently ask, what would it look like if you actually led this one? Your tone is neutral, almost casual, but something about the question lands differently. He leans back, eyes drifting upward, not defensive, just intrigued. Without pressure, he starts to think about it, not because he's been convinced, but because the idea now feels like his to explore. When you frame suggestions as questions, you invite someone's mind to move freely, not reactively. It softens resistance and sparks curiosity. Make a statement, and people instinctively evaluate or resist it. Ask a thoughtful question, especially one that gently plants an idea, and they're more likely to consider it on their own terms. Therapists use this approach to help clients reflect without feeling judged. Negotiators use it to shift tension into curiosity. Parents guide more smoothly this way. And in sales, a well-timed question can be more effective than a polished pitch. You're not demanding agreement. You're offering a window, not a wall. And when an idea feels like it came from within, people are more likely to engage with it fully. That's the quiet power of a question shaped with care. It shows a touch of vulnerability, not force. And from that openness, real movement begins. Make eye contact just 1 second longer. It's late, and you're standing in line at the grocery store. The cashier moves quickly, scanning each item with practiced rhythm. When it's your turn, you greet her quietly and ask how her night's going. As she looks up, you hold her gaze. Not intensely, just 1 second longer than usual. In that single extra moment, something shifts. The routine breaks. Her eyes pause, soften. What began as another tired transaction turns into a brief but real connection. That slight extension of eye contact, it signals presence. It shows that you're not just passing through, but genuinely acknowledging the person in front of you. And people notice. Even 1 second more tells someone, I see you. I'm here with you. Therapists use it to make space for openness. Good salespeople use it to build trust quickly. Parents use it to reassure their kids. It's subtle, but powerful. This isn't about staring or control. It's about attention, true human attention. Eye contact is one of the quietest ways to say, you matter. And sometimes that pause, between words, within silence, is where the real connection lives. Use humor. First, logic. Later. Sometimes, all a tough moment needs is a little softening. A man and his teenage daughter sit silently in a parked car outside the grocery store. The engine is off, the groceries are packed, but neither is moving. The air is thick. An all-day argument about grades, curfews, and tone still lingers. It's quiet but not calm. Staring out the windshield, the father finally says, when I was your age, I got grounded so much my parents made me a color-coded punishment calendar. She smirks, trying not to. He continues, seriously, I had weekends reserved for bad attitude all the way through mid-April. This time, she laughs, just a little. But it's enough. After a moment, he adds, more gently, I know it feels like I'm always on your case, but it's only because I care too much to stay silent. That's the power of humor. It lowers walls faster than logic ever could. When someone is upset, overwhelmed, or defensive, logic can feel like pressure. But a quick joke, a dash of self-deprecation, or an unexpected quip creates breathing room for truth to land softly. In therapy, humor helps dissolve shame. In sales, it builds trust. In parenting, it opens doors to connection. In conflict, it resets the rhythm, so the serious part can be heard. The goal isn't to dodge the hard stuff. It's to earn the space to say it. Sometimes, the best way to be heard isn't to press harder. It's to make someone laugh just enough that they stop bracing, so that when it's time to go deeper, they're ready. Open, present, and listening. Say nothing, just nod. Sometimes, the most helpful response is no words at all. In a quiet corner of a grocery store cafe, two friends sit with half-finished coffee cups between them. One is sharing something heavy, but not dramatic, a family issue that weighs on their mind. Their words come slowly, hesitantly. The other listens silently. No advice, no reactions, just steady eye contact and a gentle nod. The speaker exhales and gradually starts talking more freely, not because they're being led, but because they feel safe to continue. Saying nothing but nodding is one of the most powerful, yet overlooked ways to support someone. It quietly says, I'm here. Keep going. It doesn't interrupt, rush, or shift attention. It simply stays present. In therapy, this is how the deeper stories unfold. In parenting, it encourages kids to speak without fear of correction. In negotiations, it signals you're listening without trying to control the conversation. In conflicts, it helps prevent escalation by giving space to fully express themselves first. You're not steering the conversation. You're keeping the space steady. When people share something vulnerable, they're constantly looking for signs. Is it safe to continue? Am I being judged? Is this too much? A well-timed nod silences those doubts. Sometimes, the greatest support isn't about saying the perfect thing. It's about saying nothing and showing you're there every moment of the way. Ask for opinions, not answers. Sometimes, asking a direct question can feel heavy, like there's pressure to get it right. But asking for someone's opinion, that opens a different kind of door. Late morning, in a shared office kitchen, two coworkers wait by the sink as the coffee brews. One holds a printed proposal in hand and says, "I'm not sure about the structure here," flipping to a page. "What's your opinion on this layout?" The other takes a look, relaxes, and starts sharing, not cautiously or analytically, but casually and naturally. They bounce thoughts back and forth for a few minutes. There's no pressure, no performance, just a simple, thoughtful exchange that strengthens the idea without either of them trying too hard. Asking for an opinion, rather than a definite answer, gives people space to think without feeling boxed in. It signals that you value their point of view, not just their accuracy. That small change in approach can make others more open, more willing to share without overthinking. Therapists often frame questions this way to encourage reflection. Parents ask their children what they think to help them feel heard, not judged. In negotiations, it softens tension. In sales, it keeps things human, not just transactional. When you ask for an answer, someone has to be right. When you ask for an opinion, they just have to be honest. The best conversations begin when certainty takes a step back. Invite perspective, not just solutions, and you'll find people are more open, more engaged. And from that space, clearer thinking and real connection can emerge.